Hey y'all, I'm JamesWright and welcome to Wizards News, and boy, I love Dark Arts Month. We just finished this amazing Community Day event, and now we're getting into the second half of the Brilliant event, and we're finding out that there is a bonus assignment to do. Oh, we got lots to talk about. It is time for the second Brilliant event for the month. So this is another chance to get 15 more restricted section books, those valuable green books that allow you to do some special things. Plus, there will also be the chance of getting up to 5 more spell books, the regular red books. So we've got a lot to talk about today, and I actually want to dive into some of the details so you know how to plan best for this Brilliant event. So to cover this in more detail, I'm going to take you over here to the Wizards Unite Hub. This is one of my favorite resources for information. Brita actually has a contact with WB, and so she gets accurate information from the horse's mouth before anyone else does. So definitely worth keeping an eye on the Wizards Hub, and I'll leave a link to this down below as well. Week 2 will be starting this Tuesday at 1 p.m. here in Central Time, so that's 11 a.m. on the West Coast and 2 p.m. on the East Coast. So you'll have to figure out where you are around the world. It all starts at the exact same time and goes for 1 week. We're going to be going to Grimmauld Place, and this is the home of the Order of the Phoenix. So we're going to be talking about all of the foundables that we can get here in a moment. But first, let's actually dive into a little bit about the event itself. As we said before, it is starting on the 22nd at 11 a.m. on the West Coast, 2 p.m. on the East Coast. So figure out when it's going to start for you, because this one's going to take a little bit longer than other ones because there's a lot more to do. Number 1, we will have Portkeys coming back out. And if you still have Portkeys from the earlier Brilliant event, use those up now. Number 1, we will have new Portkeys, we will have runestones, and we will have new set of Brilliant event tasks. There will be a pack from the store that will have several items needed for brewing, as well as 15 spell energy. And then one of the big ones for this entire time, brewing time for Stimulo potions and healing potions will be 25% shorter than normal. And you will be needing to use some of these in the Brilliant event tasks, so make up a few of those. But this will also be an opportunity for you to brew up a lot of these, because we will have the Halloween event coming. In the Halloween event, we'll be focusing on wizarding challenges. So make sure you are brewing your Stimulo potions and your healing potions so that you are ready for those challenges which come on Halloween, which hopefully we'll be getting information about that later this next week. So with that being said, let's dive into the tasks. Number 1, the first half of the section, this is going to be a really hard one. You need to dine at 2 ends. Oh no. You're going to have to brew 6 potions. Now this is when you actually pick up the potion from the cauldron. It'll be spinning above the cauldron. You click it, and that is what is considered brewing the cauldron. So you will need 6 of these. So what you want to do is ahead of time have your potions brewing so that they're all done just before the event, and they're all spinning above the cauldron, and you can pick those 4 immediately. And if you have rented the rental cauldron, then you can have 2 more in there ready to pick up, so you can have 6 of those ready to go. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait for the potions to brew, in which case then you can do your basic Stimulo, or you can do a healing potion, which those only take 2 hours, so they'll be a little bit faster, but it's better to have them done brewing and ready to just click and get your bonus right then. Then next, you're going to have to defeat 3 oddities, and the oddities will be floating around like they were before. So oddities are huge, and you'll be getting far more access to them, just like we were in the earlier Brilliant event. Depending on how fast you actually go through all of these tasks, you may want to go ahead and brew a tonic for trace detection. The tonic for trace detection will call more of the oddities to you, so you'll have a better chance of finding oddities with the tonic for trace detection on. But if you're marching through these tasks really quickly, you may not want to use a tonic for trace detection right now, because you'll need that in a later step. We'll get there in a moment. Number 2, you're going to have to collect 3 Brilliant Sirius Blacks. He is the one wild foundable that will happen. You'll have the Sirius Black that is Brilliant. You will still also have the Escapee and the Brilliant Werewolf. Those were from the earlier event. You will have those appearing, so you'll have 3 things appearing in the wild. Sirius Black, the Escapee, and the Werewolf, all Brilliant. But you will need to collect 3 of the Brilliant Sirius Blacks to work on this. Next, you're going to have to use 5 Stimulo potions. And at this point, you may actually want to hold this off for the last thing in this step, because you're going to need to go to a fortress for the next step. So on this case, what I would generally do is go to a really high chamber where you're going to be using a lot of potions, and go to a high chamber and do that, because you need to use 5 potions. You might as well make it worthwhile. So at the end of section 2, you're going to want to go to a fortress, do a high chamber, and then you're going to be ready for doing section 3. The one you're going to have to really plan for is this one here. You're going to have to open 2 portmanteaus. So you have 2 different ways of doing this. Either, number one, you can plan the portmanteaus to unlock when you get to this section, so you have to plan your distance as you move and hope that they don't go over the line. Or number 2, use a silver key and double it up on 2 different 2K portmanteaus so you can quickly run out a 2K distance and get those 2 portmanteaus opened up. Here you're going to have to use 2 tonic for trace detections. So this is what I was talking about earlier. You may want to use one earlier to get those oddities. Or you may want to hold off on that because you'll need to have a tonic for trace detection going here. This is a little bit of a time lock because you can only use them one at a time. You have to use one and you have to wait 30 minutes more to have another one. So this step will take you at least 30 minutes to use 2 tonics for trace detection. Those can be really useful because you'll need to get 6 oddities. So you'll need to find 6 oddities, and the tonic for trace detection will bring those to you earlier, so you will have a better access to those. So that may be very useful. But the next step is you need to defeat 9 foes and wizarding challenges. This is what I was talking about in the previous step. If you go over by a fortress and do a really high chamber, and then you come up here and you do 9 foes and a wizarding fortress, that will fit right into it. So what I would generally suggest is in the last section, go over here and save these 5 stimulo potions for the last step. Go to a fortress, do something very high, finish up this step. Then in this step, immediately go into something a little easier and do 9 foes very quickly. And then use your tonic for trace detection and your oddities. So that way you're not using your tonic for trace detection when you're in a fortress, missing on those traces that you would be getting if you're out in the wild. So if you time it right, this one will actually be really easy, even though it is going to take at least 30 minutes to do the 2 different tonics for trace detection. So let's move on to the last step in the quest, number 4. Number 1, you're going to have to do 15 great spellcasts, and for some people this is going to take a while. What I do suggest is you practice your spellcasts. What you can do is you keep your finger away from the screen and you practice the spellcast. Practice it 2 or 3 times right before doing it, and then do it. And that's a better chance. Your finger, your brain, everything's getting used to it. You get the flow, and then you do it. And that's a better chance of getting your great or masterful spellcast if you're having problems with those. 15 of them is a good chunk, so you're going to have to do quite a few foundables to make this happen. You're going to have to use 5 more potent stimulos. So earlier you were going to have to use the regular stimulos. This one you're going to have to use the potent stimulos. So you may want to stay around that fortress and then go back into a really high level where you have to use 5 potent stimulos to make it happen. And then this last step is probably going to be one of the hardest ones because you're going to have to open 4 port keys. Now, if you scheduled everything out to make sure that these port keys pop when you're in this step, then great. Otherwise, it's better to stack up 4 of your 2K port keys, put your silver key on them, and just walk them all at once. That way you can get them done quickly in just 2 kilometers. But still, 4 port keys is going to take a little while. And at this point, we've gotten a total of 4 more regular red spell books and a total of 15 of the restricted section books. Woohoo! This is where fun is. And normally this is where the Brilliant event would stop. But now we have bonus assignments. There's one more step to this Brilliant event. Up until this point, you have completed all the tasks. You will get the last foundable you need for the sheet. So hopefully you will have all of that completed here. And the bonus is just, it's bonus. It gives you a little bit more of the fun things. So let's actually dive into this. Number 1, you're going to have to defeat 20 Brilliant Death Eaters. And you're going to have to find 20 of them. So 1 out of every 3 Brilliants you see is going to be a Brilliant Death Eater. So that means you're probably going to be looking at least 60 of the Brilliant foundables to try and find these 20 Brilliant Death Eaters, or more depending upon how common they are. But once you do defeat 20 of these Brilliant Death Eaters, you will get 1 more spell book, 1 more red book for the list. So for everyone who's missing red books, you're going to want to make sure you get this one done. Number 2, 25 oddities. And this one you're really going to be wanting to make sure that you get your tonic for trace detection on, as that will help bring more oddities to you. And then last, you're going to have to do 10 wizarding challenges. So these steps are pretty difficult. And I kind of like the way they do this because you have the 4 main steps that get you through the Brilliant event, and they allow you to finish your sheet on the Brilliant event. And so for some people, that takes the whole week to accomplish those 4 steps. But for those of you who are faster, These are 3 chunks that are going to take a good bit of work. This may take a day or 2 for some people to actually get through. And so this is a good way that you can actually have more fun through the Brilliant event, even though you may have actually finished the official Brilliant event earlier. This is a really cool move on WB's part. I'm looking forward to doing this. So after doing all of these assignments, you'll have a pile of new red books, you will have a pile of new green books, and then you can go and figure out where you want to spend them, which is the fun part. So this Brilliant event is, I think they're really doing this very well. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Last up, we're going to come down here and we're going to talk about the Foundables, because the only one in the wild is the Brilliant Sirius Black. So you will see him alongside the Escapee and the Death Eater. So you will see all 3 of those out in the wild. You're going to have to collect 12 of him in order to place the sticker, so get to work. But you'll probably come across 12 of him if you're working on the 20 Death Eaters that you had earlier. Next up, we have the Troll Leg Umbrella Stand. You'll get this one from Event Tasks. Next, we have the Brilliant Creature. Another one you'll get from the Event Tasks, so once you complete all the tasks. And then we will have the Brilliant Phoenix Patronus. The Phoenix Patronus, interesting there, but this is another one that you'll get from the event tasks. Then next we have the Brilliant Phineas Nigellus, the portrait that hangs in Grimold Place. This you will get when you unlock 5 of the Brilliant Portkeys. So the 3K Portkeys, you're going to have to unlock 5 of them in order to get all of the pieces for this picture. And then last, the one that everyone's going to be asking me questions about is the Brilliant Order of the Phoenix photo. This one, you're going to need 3 of these, so you're going to have to do wizarding challenges. The trick to this is using the right runestone, so use the runestone from this Brilliant event, and then go as high in the chamber as you can. The best chance of finding a Foundable is to go higher in the chambers. The higher you go, the greater your chance of finding the family Foundable. Some lucky people out there are going to do 3 challenges and they will get all of them they need, and some people will be doing 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 challenges to get all that they need. It's kind of a luck of the draw thing, so keep going at it and you'll eventually get your Brilliant Order of the Phoenix photo. One tip is you're going to need 2 of your tonic for trace detections here in Phase 3. So if you have the ingredients to brew them up ahead of time, great, do that. If you don't have the ingredients, don't buy the ingredients, because it costs more to buy the ingredients than it does just to buy the potion. It's cheaper to just straight up buy the potion than it is to buy all the ingredients. But keep in mind, you will also be getting some free ingredients from the special bonus that you will be given at the beginning of the event. So, wow, there was a lot to go through in this, and this is turning into a really cool event. I like having that bonus segment on there. That way the people who are having a hard time getting through can, and the people who run through it quickly still have one big hard step to do at the end. So I'm really, they're learning and they're doing better things with it. I'm really getting excited for this Brilliant event. And then after this Brilliant event, we have the Halloween event on, well, Halloween. Hopefully we'll be finding out more about that here soon, and I'll be putting out a couple videos on that. So, lots to go through. I hope you like this. I'd love to hear your ideas. Is there any particular tip or trick that you think I missed or other people should know? Let those down in the comments below. And I think that's about it for today. So if you did like the video, please hit like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell. I say it every time, but those do mean a lot and they really help out the channel. So thank you for that. That is one of the best things you can do. If you like this content, please do all those things, and it really does help out. Thank you. I think that's about it for today. And until next time, have a magical day. We've got a chocolate frog, and this one is sponsored by Lisa Gliston. She has a YouTube channel called A Witch Alone, which you definitely got to check out her channel. I'll leave a link to that down below. I do actually watch her stuff quite a bit, and I like what she's doing up there. So definitely take a look at it, and let's see what's inside here. Today, we've got, Rowena Ravenclaw, one of the 4 founders of Hogwarts.